Hi, it's Katie from the Muscatine Art Center, and I'm here to show you a short tutorial on how to make your own dandelion picture. Now this is kind of a DIY for any adult, but children are also welcome to do it, of course. Something really simple and fun to do at home while you're quarantined. So the first thing that you need is paper. Any paper will do. I actually just use regular old construction paper. Dandelions, when they blow apart, they're usually white, so using a darker color will really help it stand out. If you'd rather use a canvas or a canvas board, you would need to color some sort of a background, so maybe either some grass or a sky, something of that nature. And then the paint that you would need would be some white paint. So you would need some white acrylic paint. If you are working with kids, you probably would need tempera paint. Tempera paint is water-based and is easier to come out of clothes, especially if your little kid gets dirty. But acrylic paint works really, really well for this kind of activity. Then to make the actual dandelion shape, the easiest thing to do would be actually to take a toilet paper tube and cut using some scissors to cut slits halfway down all around your toilet paper tube, and that becomes kind of your little stamp. So I'm going to take this off and show you. And yes, I'm using a pizza box as my little backdrop here, my easel. So I'm just taking a simple little piece of paper here. Then I take my toilet paper tube and cut the slits in there, and then you kind of squish it down. And you want to put your paint on a paper plate, something that you can dispose of pretty easily. Put it on a plate just kind of like that. I know it's kind of hard to see. Spread it out a little bit. But first, what you do is you also need some Q-tips. So you take some Q-tips. In my first step, you could also use a paintbrush, of course, but since we're going to be using Q-tips, it's probably just the easiest to keep them. So take your Q-tip and you're going to define where you want to put your dandelion. So I'm going to put 4 dandelions, and they're going to be close by because I have a smaller piece of paper. If you have a big piece of paper, you can do more and spread them out. But I'm going to use this to define where my dandelions are going to go. So I'm going to put one here, kind of in the corner, and make a little circle and X. And give it a little stem like that. It's okay if it's not perfect. You're just kind of giving it a little template here. I'm going to do another one maybe down here. Don't forget to put the stem all the way down to the bottom. And if your stems aren't perfect, that's okay. You can come back a little bit later and define them. So I'm going to do another one maybe way up here and put my stem going this way. And you know, if you've ever seen a dandelion, which I'm sure everybody has, their stems aren't completely straight. They kind of bend a little bit, especially when the dandelions are about ready to blow apart. I'm going to put another one down here. So then comes the fun part. So then you take your toilet paper tube that has been cut, and you just kind of, like I said, smush it down a little bit, and then you're going to stamp it into your paint. So you want to kind of get it as even as you can with the paint. If it's too blotched, if there's too much on one little side, just take your Q-tip and kind of spread it out a little bit. You want to try to get it as even as you can on your paint coverage. So you don't want too much of a blob on one thing or another, but if you do, that's okay. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. So then taking the center part, you stamp onto the center part of your dandelions, and it's okay if you get it off the paper. You just kind of stamp in a circular motion, just like this, back and forth, until you've achieved kind of this dandelion look there. And you can keep going for the other ones, but you'll notice when you have to kind of refill. You could also leave it like that, a little bit more bare, because some dandelions have some of their stuff and some of them have most of it blown away. Kind of up to you. That's the fun part of this. So you go to the other two and just keep stamping in a circular motion here until you've kind of achieved what you want. So then the last part would be to take some more of your Q-tips and either hold them in a group or use rubber band and rubber band around them. Maybe about 4 or 5. And you want to take these and you want to stamp them in your white paint, just like this. And then you're gonna kind of define your dandelions a little bit more. So we're gonna kind of put a little bit of these dots in here. And then you wanna bring your dots out, because these dots are the little bits of dandelions that are kind of blowing away. So all you're doing is giving it a little bit more dimension. You kind of go in the middle right here, and then as it's blowing away, it kind of gets less and less. So you're just stamping with these Q-tips. And you can keep going, add however much you want. All this is doing is kind of adding a little layer of dimension. So then to finish up, then what you can do is kind of define your stems a little bit more. So if you want to add some more paint down here, if you maybe want to add some different shadows or anything like that, you can do that. But that is a pretty kind of a simple way to paint some dandelions. And you can, like I said before, you can use canvas, you can use plain paper like I'm using. Anything will do. As long as you've got some paint and something to paint on and a toilet paper tube, you are pretty much ready to go. So thanks for coming to this tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks. Bye.